His webinar, Career Options in Islamic Finance. I'm very excited to be here. We're normally accustomed to conducting face-to-face training sessions, but it's gratifying to see that we literally are covering the entire globe this evening. I see names all the way from Calgary, Canada, in the west, where it's early morning, to Australia, where it's late night. So welcome everyone. We have people from Dubai, Finland, UK, Nigeria. So alhamdulillah, it's a really healthy mix, and inshallah, Islamic finance is for everyone. So inshallah, we'll try to make sure that it's all the questions get answered, and that we keep all of our answers as relevant as possible to this global audience. I am also joined by Yusuf Jah, who is the Sharia controller at a major GCC Islamic bank. He will also be joining us. Welcome, Yusuf.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here, and hopefully I can benefit the listeners in terms of any questions they may have.
So we will begin right away. Inshallah, we're going to try to keep the webinar to less than 90 minutes. We'll have an introductory session, which will shortly be followed by the questions that we've received in advance by email, and then live questions. And for those of you who stick around until the end, we will also give people an opportunity to win various things, including discounts, as well as other stuff. So inshallah, not limited to one-on-one career counseling with Islamic banking experts. So we'll begin right away. The webinar is Career Options in Islamic Finance, and as most of you know, despite the global financial crisis, Islamic finance has, alhamdulillah, remained quite resilient through much of the crisis. It has not been completely insulated, because obviously even many Sharia compliant transactions, such as, for instance, real estate, however compliant they are still going to be affected by the markets around that industry. So despite that, Islamic banks continue to thrive. There's expansion going on in a number of countries, and over 500 Islamic banks, whether standalone or as subsidiaries, are all over the world, and countries are the central banks in countries from as far-flung regions as Japan, Canada, where we were recently, Australia, have stated their intention to expand with Islamic finance services. The industry is growing annually at a rate of over 20%, which is actually a number that we hear a lot, but what is more relevant is that in some industries, some Islamic finance industries that are relatively mature, like Malaysia, Pakistan, parts of the GCC, it is more stable and growing, while in other places where it's just being introduced, the rate of growth is much, much higher. The S&P believes the potential for the market of Islamic financial services is close to $4 trillion. And like I mentioned, there is a very positive interest from Muslim and non-Muslim countries around the world, with many of them starting with capital markets transactions from the get-go, and then moving on to retail and corporate style products as they progress. So it's good to see that regulatory and legislative and political changes in these countries are accommodating Islamic finance. According to A.T. Kearney, over 30,000 new Islamic banking jobs will have to be filled in the Gulf alone. And there's actually bigger markets than the Gulf. Obviously, the UK, Europe, North America, these are huge markets where Islamic finance remains largely untapped. There's been progress in places like UK, Europe, but again, it's still the tip of the iceberg. One of the best signs that there is a critical mass of Islamic financial institutions and Islamic finance practitioners is AOFI. AOFI stands for the Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions, and it is the leading standard-setting body in the industry. It is essentially an effort to bring the top scholars from around the world, from various regions, together several times a year to formulate standards for various products. And it is widely held to be the leading standard-setting body, and they put out a book called AOFI Sharia Standards, which I recommend all of you to try to get a hold of.